Today I want to share with you, with this nice logo at the back which I just noticed, some tips about trading journals. What's up traders, welcome back to Chiang Mai. I've been here for only a couple of hours, but I kind of love this place so far. I got a question recently about kind of what you put in your trading journal, especially like the paper one, because it's easy to make something online these days and you can kind of keep track of your stats there. But I think there's more to it. There's more to becoming better, improving your stats, kind of making this book of your progress and things you've done and things you've achieved and what you learned along the way. So I want to share with you some things that I would track. Actually 7 things that I track in my journal, whether in this one or other ones that I don't have with me right now, but you'll get to see what you can put in your journal. And those are only ideas, so don't feel like stressed or forced to use them. Use what you like and what you think makes sense to you, and then just write it down in your journal and track it over time. Okay? So the very first thing, one of the first things I started to use in my journal, I started to track, are the zones I look at. So I would take this kind of small notebook with me over the weeks. I would bring it with me like every day, have it in my desk all the time. And I would note down inside of it the zones in the market I was looking at for that week. So all the things I was expecting to trade on every single pair. And I would just write this down. So for example, AUD CAD reaching zone at 0.97. Okay, simply. And I would just keep track of this. This is very easy because first of all you write it down so you tend to remember better. And then you can just keep track of it. See, during the week, and you can also bring it with you. So like, the issue with your cell phone is that you kind of get too distracted. You kind of forget to look at it, or you get lost in other apps and stuff. But this, you can carry it with you, you can see it all the time, and it's much easier to remember the zones. I found I had a much better clarity when I was writing down the zones in my notebook, as opposed to kind of trying to remember or just putting them on my chart and trying to remember after. So that's really useful. So first thing I would write down in my notebook is at the beginning of every week, or even like every day if you want, write it down to the zones you look at for that week or that day, and then keep track of it. So look back the other day, try to remember the zones, and if you want to take a trade in the market, just check if it's in accordance to those zones, and if not, maybe skip the trade. Right? That's what I do for myself. Might be different for you, but that's kind of how I look at things. And I also happen to write down my video ideas in that same notebook. The second thing, which I started doing pretty much just this year for my robots, are the trading returns and other statistics you want to track. So I have in this notebook over here my algo statistics. Here we go, hope that's clear. For this year so far. So in January of this year, the algo made 2.94%, February lost 0.74%. That's all written here, and I also have the number of trades I took, plus the win rate of that, and also things I kind of corrected over time. So for example, this past month, I saw an error in the algo, so I started to correct that. What's the result of this? Well, minus 1%, because of a fault in the algo. So we corrected it. It's fine. We need to create a custom version I wrote here. We did it, and so that's pretty good. We're doing awesome. So that's kind of a way to keep track of the things that you are finding out based on your stats. For me, it's just the win rate and the percent I made last month. For you, it could be different because the other parameters for me are quite fixed. But you can track whatever stats you want and see if it improves over time. If it doesn't, then maybe you have an issue. But if you write it down, it's very hard to improve something. You have to really push yourself. Because for me, I write down like every single month steps or action step I want to take for the next month. And if I don't do them, well, it's only my fault. It's only me. It's not like because of anything else. So the more you do this, the more you keep track of things that you gotta work on. And that I just found makes it very easy to kind of improve and get better over time. And if you have like a really bad month or really good month, maybe note down next to your month or below, write down like why. What happened? Was it like because you had many setup, or because you did many mistakes, or maybe you took all your trade properly that month? Write this down, and that's going to keep you accountable and tell you what to do next month to get the same results, because that's really awesome, really useful here. And that's the second thing. The third thing, which I wrote down in my notebooks earlier, was about my strategies. So I would write down kind of the strategy trades, kind of my playbook. In that notebook, I will have a page per strategy with all the rules, everything I look for, the kind of setup I look for, with the setup I drew on the notebook. And I would kind of like that because I would be able to keep track of my strategies, what things I've tried, what things that didn't work, that work, what strategies were the best, And that's just awesome. That's just a cool way to do it. So write down your strategies there, try to see if they improve over time too, and if you want to change them perhaps. Just keep a log of things you've tried and strategies you've used, and that just makes it nice, because then it's also easier to kind of get other ideas now based on your strategies in the past if you go back a few months later. So for me, my strategy didn't change that much in the past like year and a half since I read it down for the first time, but it's still the same principle. Like, you could write it out every year or have a notebook to carry with you with your training plan if you want in it. That's fine too. I prefer to have like a template on the side, but you go with what you prefer, of course, because that could be a good idea. Fourth thing to write down are, of course, the things you learn. So often we hear, like, either on a podcast, on the video, like an advice, something we have to implement. Maybe it's like gonna be these points that you should write down in your notebook, these ideas. But we forget to write them down sometimes, so we kind of forget them over time. And that's the big issue, because you could learn and you could hear from the best trader in the world, get all these amazing advice, all these amazing things you learn in one afternoon, but then you don't write them down, and 2 weeks after you forget everything. Like, maybe there's gonna be like 1 or 2 things that stick, but the other one you forget them because you didn't write anything down. And so you want people to keep track of this, keep track of the things you learn in your journal and write them down. Could be things about trading, about life, about anything else that you write down in your journal and you keep track of. Okay, that's a very good thing to do and very rewarding over time, because you can go back and review what you learned, review your experiences, review the things that you heard, and use it later on in the future. Back in Canada, I have kind of this library of notebooks, which are notebooks like this of the past years, and they're just useful. I can go back to them, see what I've learned these past years, and just take action on that, or use the advice I heard maybe like 2 years ago in a conversation with a trader and use this today to improve. So why not? Why push this advice away when you can kind of keep it, use it, and put it in the notebook to use later? So I kind of think this is pretty cool, in my opinion. Okay, that's the fourth thing. The fifth thing, which I've done a lot, are writing down the challenges that I face in trading. Okay, this is big, because when you write down a challenge or something you face, something you want to solve on a paper, or better on a notebook, you tend to kind of, for some reason, come up with solutions on how to solve it, how to fix the issue. And many problems I had, I would just kind of, maybe at night or maybe whatever, I would write down the problem I faced with a question mark. How can I blank? How can I miss that trade? Whatever. This is something I wrote down in the past. Then below that, you want to write down some solutions, some possible solution, which most of them are going to be crap. We already know that, that's fine. But some are going to be good. Okay, so I wrote down below this, like, oh, I could like set alerts on my chart, or I could maybe I could like be more diligent with my chart time, or maybe I could kind of have a device with me all the time to look at the chart and not miss trades, or maybe I could code something to not miss trades. Okay, so you write down like all the ideas you have on right now when you write the question, and maybe the next day you kind of come up and you wake up with another idea that you want to write down again, and you just kind of create this basis of ideas, and then you find the best one, which is going to come up inevitably at some point, and use it. Okay, and that could solve your problem very easily. But the thing is, if we only have our problems in mind and not on paper, it's very difficult to improve and to find solutions. It's better when you write down everything on a paper or somewhere to kind of keep track of it and brainstorm on that idea. So I found this to be very useful. Could be good for you, could be not that good, but try it out and see if it works. Okay, that's an awesome thing for me. So that's number 5. Number 6, are writing down your future implementation goals. So things that you want to implement. It could be your goals in general. It could be your goals that you got from the past month, things you want to kind of master next month, that you're going to track next month. Whatever you prefer. So for me, I kind of have this big section in this notebook right here of my goals for the year and things that happened last year as well. So those are things that I kind of like to track, and I like to have at a front page of my notebook to be able to look at often. Okay, that's super awesome. I write down things that I want to make happen, some successes I had the past year. That's just a cool way to see how far you've come. You could do the same thing. So for me, implementation goal are things that I write down next to my stats every month. Okay, because those are things that I want to improve. Those are kind of action steps for next month. That's what I mean by implementation goals. Okay, so things you want to get done the next month. And that's just a cool way to keep track of things. And that means that you won't forget what you have to work on. And the next month, when you write down your stats again, you'll be accountable to what you wrote the past month, which is very powerful. So good idea here, write down your goals or things you want to implement, and that's going to make it easier for you to keep track of it over time. And finally, the 7th thing or idea you can write down in your notebook are your key rituals. This is for me 2 things. So what are the rituals right now that kind of kill my momentum? Okay, I have this right here, which are biggest momentum killer at the top of this page, okay, which you can see but doesn't really matter. And then I also want to write down on either my notebook or my cell phone, whichever is the best for you. I kind of like the notebook a lot. Basically things that help you stay on track. So your rituals, what can help you kind of achieve your goals, what you have to get done every week or every day to get to your goals. Okay, if you can figure out those and write them down in a notebook, then you're less likely to miss them and more likely to kind of stick to them and remember them over time. Because what happens is that we can have like really good ideas for the year of things we're gonna do, habits we're gonna have, but fast forward 2-3 months or even 6 months, we forget those because we are too busy with other things we heard not that long ago. So if you write them down in your notebook, then you know what to work on, you know what to apply, and you know that these are the things you set at the beginning of the year that made sense to you. You might change them, of course, but you want to keep track of your habits and things that you know get you result. And that's just a cool way to kind of put them in your notebook, follow them, use them, and do what you're supposed to do and not do what you're not supposed to do, basically. So that's pretty awesome. Those are the 7 things, guys, that made a lot of sense to me in my notebook. 7 ideas for you. Use them if you want, use some of them if you want, use all of them if you want. Up to you, you decide. But comment below what you thought. If you have any other ideas of things you can write down in your notebook as a trader, comment below. I do want to know for sure. And subscribe if it's not done yet. Here are a few comments from the past video. I appreciate you guys always for leaving comments down below in the section. And I'll catch you guys back here for another video in Chiang Mai tomorrow. Ciao.